Stop masturbation. Mastering self-control through Stoicism. Have you ever wondered how you could live with greater self-control and inner peace without being ruled by impulse? The Stoics, with their timeless wisdom, left us powerful tools to master our emotions, overcome challenges, and lead a balanced life. In this video, we will explore practical Stoic principles that can transform your life, starting with conscious moderation and self-reflection. Are you ready to discover how these teachings can grant you the inner freedom you deeply desire? Let's begin with the first Stoic principle. Rule number 1. Examine your desires and impulses. Have you ever paused to reflect on where your desires and impulses come from? Too often, we act on emotions in the heat of the moment without considering whether these impulses truly serve us or divert us from our deeper goals. Instead of acting on instinct, taking a moment to analyze our desires can make a profound difference. This is a crucial question that helps us make more conscious decisions and live with greater clarity and purpose. Stoic philosophers such as Epictetus and Marcus Aurelius taught that we should be aware of our desires and learn to control them. According to them, it is not about suppressing desires, but rather reflecting on them and asking ourselves, does this desire bring me closer to a life of virtue, or does it pull me away? By analyzing our impulses, we align them with our higher goals and prevent them from leading us astray, emotionally or morally. Epictetus famously said, "It is not things that disturb us, but our opinions about them." Similarly, our desires are not inherently good or bad. It is our interpretation and whether we allow them to control us that matters. Imagine encountering a strong impulse, a fleeting temptation that could distract you from something important. In the moment, it might seem appealing, but in the long run, it distances you from what truly matters. Before acting, ask yourself, does this desire contribute something meaningful, or is it merely pulling me away from my real goals? By pausing for reflection, you avoid chasing fleeting impulses that take you further from your values. Instead, you choose a path that strengthens your character and helps you maintain focus. Next time you feel a powerful impulse, stop for a moment. Consider its source and ask yourself, is this desire aligned with my values and long-term goals? Through this reflection, you will practice Stoic self-control and make decisions that genuinely benefit you in the long run. A simple act of mindfulness before action helps cultivate moderation, one of the fundamental Stoic virtues, allowing you to live with greater freedom, controlling your desires rather than being controlled by them. Rule number 2. Focus on higher goals. In a world full of distractions and fleeting pursuits, it's easy to lose sight of what truly matters. However, the Stoics encourage us to raise our perspective and focus on higher goals, those that not only benefit us personally, but also transcend daily concerns and connect us to something greater: virtue, personal growth, and the common good. Marcus Aurelius, a strong advocate of this mindset, said, "Engage in a few things, but do them well." For the Stoics, higher goals are those that lead us to moral and spiritual excellence. This means prioritizing wisdom over fleeting pleasure, justice over self-interest, moderation over instant gratification. These goals provide lasting meaning, allowing us to live more fully and purposefully. By focusing on higher goals, you not only improve your own character, but also contribute to the well-being of others. Imagine channeling your energy into goals that not only develop you personally, but also positively impact those around you. For example, helping your community, developing skills to serve others better, deepening your self-awareness. Unlike short-term pleasures, these pursuits do not fade. They create a legacy that extends beyond personal achievement, shaping a better world. When we focus on smaller goals, such as chasing immediate rewards or external validation, we may feel temporary satisfaction, but it fades quickly. Higher goals, on the other hand, force us to look inward, reflect on our true values, and make choices that, though sometimes difficult, have a deep and lasting impact. Self-control and discipline play a crucial role in this approach. When we are clear on what truly matters, it becomes easier to resist temptations and distractions that might pull us away from our real path. A practical example of this would be prioritizing personal growth over instant gratification, learning, developing skills, or nurturing relationships instead of seeking temporary pleasures or social validation. This provides a deeper sense of fulfillment as your actions align with what you genuinely value: long-term well-being, meaningful connections, and the impact you leave on the world. Higher goals also bring clarity in uncertain times. When everything seems chaotic or overwhelming, returning to your core values allows you to make wise and balanced decisions. Having a higher purpose serves as an inner compass, helping you navigate through life's ups and downs with greater confidence and peace. Next time you face an important decision or feel distractions pulling you away from your path, ask yourself, am I working towards something of lasting value? Am I investing my energy in something that will help me grow and positively impact others? By focusing on higher goals, you not only improve your own life, but also contribute to a more meaningful and balanced world. Rule number 3: practice conscious moderation. We live in a society that constantly pushes us to seek more pleasure, more success, more possessions. But what happens when this relentless pursuit consumes us? The Stoics taught that true well-being is not found in excess, but in conscious moderation. The ability to pause, recognize when enough is enough, and balance our desires with reason. Moderation is not about restricting yourself. It's about living actively and mindfully, making deliberate choices about what we truly need and what is unnecessary. Marcus Aurelius once said, "Everything in excess is against nature." For the Stoics, moderation was not a limitation, but a tool that allows us to act with freedom and self-mastery. By practicing moderation, we prevent our desires or uncontrolled impulses from ruling us and instead focus on what truly adds value to our lives. Conscious moderation means actively reflecting on our daily actions and choices. It is not just about avoiding excess. It is about being fully aware of why and how we consume, seek pleasure, or take action. For example, imagine enjoying a delicious meal. Practicing moderation does not mean denying yourself the pleasure of eating, but rather being aware of when you've had enough, nourishing yourself without indulging in excess that could harm you. Another example is how we spend our time on distractions like social media, TV shows, or even overworking. Practicing conscious moderation in these areas means asking yourself, am I spending more time on this than I need to? Is this pulling me away from things that truly matter, like my well-being, relationships, or personal growth? Reflecting on these questions and acting accordingly allows us to regain control over our actions. Stoic self-discipline and moderation also apply to our emotions. It is not just about material consumption or physical pleasures. It is also about moderating our reactions. A person who practices conscious moderation asks themselves, am I overreacting to this situation? Emotions like anger, frustration, or even euphoria can lead us to impulsive actions we may later regret. The Stoics teach us to moderate our emotions so we don't fall into extreme reactions. Moderation, then, is about balance. Instead of living in extremes, we move toward the center, where we can enjoy life's benefits without allowing them to control us. Marcus Aurelius, in his Meditations, urged people to live in harmony with nature, which means knowing when to stop, recognizing when enough is enough, and acting with wisdom instead of impulse. Next time you find yourself tempted by excess, ask yourself, do I really need more? Practicing conscious moderation is not about restriction, it is about liberation. It is the ability to say no to what you don't need so that you can say yes to what truly nourishes you and leads to a more balanced and fulfilling life. Key number 4. Cultivate self-discipline through habits. Have you ever noticed how small habits, repeated daily, have an immense impact on your life? According to Stoic philosophy, self-discipline is the key to staying focused on what truly matters and resisting distractions that pull us away from our goals. Epictetus reminded us, "No man is free who is not master of himself." This inner freedom is built through discipline, not through harsh restrictions, but through consistent habits that lead us toward a more balanced and controlled life. Self-discipline helps us find balance between instant gratification and long-term goals. The key to developing discipline is starting small. It's not about making drastic changes overnight, but about establishing habits that gradually strengthen our ability to self-regulate. Simple actions like waking up early, spending a few minutes meditating, maintaining a daily exercise routine all contribute to resisting distractions and staying focused on what truly matters. Imagine committing to reading just 10 pages of a book every day. At first, it may seem insignificant, but over time, those few minutes of daily reading accumulate into immense knowledge and new perspectives. Self-discipline is not about radical change, it's about consistency. Repeating small, purposeful actions daily transforms your life. Next time you feel tempted to abandon a goal or give in to procrastination, remember, self-discipline is like a muscle. It grows stronger with consistent practice. Cultivate small habits that gradually build a solid foundation for achieving your long-term goals and maintaining inner balance. Rule number 5. Practice negative visualization. We live in a culture that constantly pushes us toward optimism, encouraging us to imagine the best possible outcomes. But what if, instead of focusing solely on positive aspects, we also considered what could go wrong? The Stoics teach us to do exactly that. Practice negative visualization, a mental and emotional exercise that prepares us to face adversity. Contrary to what it may seem, negative visualization is not about pessimism, but about pragmatism and resilience. Marcus Aurelius, one of the great Stoic philosophers, advised, "Prepare yourself for everything that may happen. Accept what comes and adapt to circumstances." This approach is not about attracting negativity, but about preparing for it so that when challenges arise, they do not catch us off guard or paralyze us. The practice involves deliberately imagining worst-case scenarios before facing an important or uncertain situation. Why? Because uncertainty and fear of the unknown are major causes of anxiety. By visualizing the worst that could happen, we become more aware of our emotions and develop strategies to adapt and handle the situation. This way, when unexpected events actually occur, we are better prepared, more composed, and less overwhelmed by shock or fear. Imagine, for example, that you have an important presentation at work. Instead of only envisioning success, practice negative visualization. What if the projector stops working? What if someone asks a tough question you can't answer? By considering these scenarios in advance, you can prepare solutions, think of alternatives, and mentally train yourself to remain calm if these challenges arise. If the feared event actually happens, it won't feel like a catastrophe. It will simply be a situation you were prepared for. The Stoics understood that life is full of ups and downs. We cannot control everything that happens around us, but we can control how we respond. Negative visualization reminds us that we should not fear adversity. Instead, we should accept it as an inevitable part of life. By imagining worst-case scenarios, we reduce anxiety and build resilience. Instead of being caught off guard, we are mentally ready for any challenge. Another benefit of this practice is that it helps diminish anticipatory fear. Often, our anxiety comes from uncertainty and fear of the unknown. However, by confronting these fears rationally, we transform them into manageable possibilities. Simply visualizing the worst-case scenario allows us to face it with greater calm if it actually happens. Next time you find yourself in an uncertain or difficult situation, take a few minutes to practice negative visualization. Ask yourself, what is the worst that could happen? How would I respond if it did? By training your mind this way, you will be better prepared for unforeseen circumstances, and life's challenges will no longer take you by surprise. Conclusion: the Stoic path to inner strength and fulfillment lies in practicing negative visualization, preparing for life's challenges before they arise, cultivating self-discipline, building small, consistent habits that lead to long-term success, focusing on higher goals, prioritizing purpose and virtue over short-term distractions. By applying these principles, you gain control over your mind, emotions, and actions, leading a life of wisdom, clarity, and purpose. Your journey begins now.